It has been a while since I've done a 3 for $30 video. This is where I challenge myself to spend about $30 and come up with 3 different meals that would feed a family on that budget. Well, I just pulled into the grocery store at Walmart, so we're gonna go in and get some things to make 3 meals, and we're gonna see how close I can stay to that $30 budget. I will show you exactly what I'm purchasing and how I am using it. One of the challenges with planning this kind of meal plan right now is that it's summer, it's the end of July, so I'm not really feeling a lot of like soups and stews and casseroles, the kinds of meals that make really good budget recipes. I really want things that come together quickly, that don't require a lot of cooking. You know, maybe I don't have to keep the stove or the oven turned on very long to cook. So with that in mind, I'm picking up some shrimp. I can get a package of small tail off deveined shrimp for $5 in the frozen section, and this is something that cooks very, very quickly, either on the grill or maybe even sauteed in a pan. I can also pick up a pound of ground pork in the frozen section at my Walmart for $2.47. I was really surprised to see that. So I'm gonna pick up one of these. We're gonna have to let it, thaw out to use it, but this will be great. Okay, so I just stopped by the deli to order about 3/4 of a pound of deli ham shaved for one of the meals I have in mind. And the lady at the counter said, hey, if you order a pound, you get $1 off because we have coupons right here at the counter. So I happened to luck out today and I'm gonna get a little extra ham because I'm gonna be able to use the coupon that they had at my counter. You guys, what is the deal with ramen? I had an idea for a meal and it was gonna use a few bricks of ramen, but ramen right now is 47 cents per brick. I mean, I remember when it was like 10 cents per brick. Most recently it's been like 22, 25 cents. It still isn't expensive if you buy it in a big box, but I can't buy it in a big box of like 10 or 12 bricks and still stay in my $30 budget. But I'm gonna just go with regular like angel hair pasta because I can get a pound for $1. But we'll talk about that when that recipe comes up. You can substitute ramen for it if you want. Okay, I need some bread, so I'm gonna check out the discount bakery rack and see if I can get a good deal on a loaf or 2 of French bread or some rolls for sandwiches. Normally on a super tight budget, I would not spend any money on chips. I mean, they're not, really nutritious. They're not adding a lot to a meal. They're a luxury item. But right now, they have these on rollback at my Walmart for $1.50. So I'm gonna go ahead and splurge and pick up a bag of these to add to one of my meals that I have in mind. Okay, I think I have a plan. I'm gonna head to the checkout. I'm gonna show you the rest of the things that I got, everything that I got when I got home, my whole haul, and then we'll put together some meals. I already mentioned the pound of pork and the 12-ounce package of shrimp and the deli ham in the grocery store. I also picked up 2 little containers of Greek yogurt. They were out of vanilla, so I got the toasted coconut vanilla, which will be fine. You could use a different flavor. You'll see what I'm using that for here later in the video. I also picked up a package of Swiss cheese. A different kind of sliced cheese will work. Again, you can see what I'm doing with that and make some adjustments according to your taste. I have 1 pound of Orzo and 1 pound of angel hair. I found 2 really great loaves of French bread on the discount bakery rack for 69 cents each. I splurged on the potato chips as I mentioned, and I know it seems odd that I might spend $1 of my very tight $30 budget on this tiny little container of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but you'll see what I'm doing with that. 3 Granny Smith apples. You could use a different kind of apple. 1 red onion, 1 cucumber, and 1 garlic bulb, 1 bulb of garlic. 1 pound of Roma tomatoes, and then 1 package of tricolor coleslaw mix. This is green cabbage, carrots, and red cabbage. Now, I did have to make a few adjustments as I was shopping, but that is one of the plus sides of going inside the store to shop, is that if you need to make adjustments or they're out of something, you could do it right there in real time. And even though I do love grocery delivery or grocery pickup, I do it all the time, another plus side of going in the store is finding deals you might not have seen otherwise. And I found some clearance deals, and I found, the coupon for the deli meat. So I was able to shave a little bit more off my total by, watching for some of those clearance finds or some of those sales that I wouldn't have known about if I was shopping online. And I could not believe that I got all of this for $29.87 before tax. I was able to get some produce. I was able to get some proteins. I know how I'm going to use this to make 3 complete meals for my family of 5. Future Mindy popping in here to say that I'm making 1 adjustment to my grocery haul. I originally picked up a red onion because I thought that I was going to use it in my recipes, and as I got to thinking about this menu, I actually don't really want it, but I did really want some fresh basil. So I paid about $1.60 for that red onion. I paid about $1.94 for this basil, so it is going to put me just a teeny bit over my $30 budget, but it's going to be worth it because I'd much rather have this. I did not purchase any cooking oils or any seasonings, and since I'm cooking in a family kitchen, and I'm hoping that this video appeals to those who are cooking in family kitchens, my hope is that you have some of those things. I'll put up a picture right here and a list of the things that I'm going to be using to help season and cook the food. It should be very minimal, just kind of some pantry staple items. If there is something you don't have, maybe you can figure out a substitution, maybe you can live without it, maybe you can make some adjustments, or maybe there are some things that I purchased that you already have. Like maybe you already have a red onion, maybe you already have garlic and don't need to purchase it, and you could then use those couple dollars picking up some seasonings. Thank you to Upside for sponsoring today's video. Upside helps you earn cash back at over 100,000 restaurants, grocery stores, and gas stations. And here's the deal. I'm going to buy gas anyway for the mom van. That's pretty much an essential and non-negotiable. We're gonna be filling up the mom van with gas. So I might as well take just another extra few seconds and open up my Upside app and see all the places where I can get gas around me that will give me cash back on that purchase that I'm making anyway. And it's super easy to use. I've been using it for years. When it's time to fill up the mom van, I just open up my Upside app and I look at the options nearby for getting cash back on my gas, and I select one of them, and then I just follow the directions. I go there and make a purchase. That's all. Because I have a card on file in my Upside app, I just go there and make a purchase, and then a few days later, the cash back is added to my Upside account. And I just checked, and currently I have almost $60 in my Upside account. I usually let mine build up for a little bit, and then I'll trade it in for gift cards. They have lots of options for places that we frequent, including Walmart, Target, and Amazon. But you can cash out directly to your PayPal or your bank account. Top Upside earners are making as much as $300 a month. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside and use my code Mindy to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. Or you can scan the QR code right here. Thank you again to Upside for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. I am making up a little Orzo bruschetta, or at least that's what I'm calling it. I brought a pot of salted water to a boil, and I'm cooking my Orzo now. I had initially planned to use a spaghetti for this recipe, but when I ran into the ramen problem in the store and the ramen noodles were gonna bust my budget, and I decided to use the angel hair pasta in that recipe instead, I went with an Orzo for this recipe. You could substitute different kinds of pasta for this. You can see what I'm doing and then decide what it is that you wanna use. While that's cooking, I am de-seeding and chopping up my Roma tomatoes, and also I'm gonna mince 5 or 6 cloves of garlic. I have my chopped tomatoes and my minced garlic here in the bowl. I'm going to dress it with a couple tablespoons of oil. I'm using olive oil. You could use vegetable oil if that's what you have on hand. And about a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. Salt and pepper to taste. I'm probably gonna end up using about a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black pepper. Give it a little stir. Don't worry if it looks overdressed, we're gonna add more stuff to it. I cooked my Orzo to al dente. I drained it and I rinsed it a little bit so that it is warm still, but not hot. So it's not ice cold, it's still just a little bit warm. So I'm gonna add it to my pan here, or my bowl. Also gonna add my fresh basil. I'm gonna add a little more salt and pepper and then stir it all together with the tomatoes and garlic and oil and vinegar. I'm gonna taste this to see if I wanna add, a little more oil, a little more vinegar, salt and pepper. I do think I'm gonna add just a smidge more oil, maybe a tablespoon, and also a little bit more balsamic, but that's because I really like balsamic vinegar. A little more salt. Stir it all up again. Much better. I'm gonna pop the lid on this and put it in the refrigerator. It's about lunchtime right now, so it's gonna sit in the fridge for 5 or 6 hours till I'm ready to serve it with the dinner. To go along with my bruschetta Orzo creation tonight, I'm gonna cook up the shrimp. I rinsed mine and then I laid them out on a paper towel lined plate to dry, and I seasoned them. I just used some Lawry seasoning salt. Another all-purpose seasoning would work just fine, or even just some salt and pepper. I'm gonna cook mine in a pan with some butter. I'm just gonna saute them 1 to 2 minutes on on each side. They're really small. I'm gonna throw in the rest of my garlic minced the last couple minutes that they're cooking. But there are lots of ways that you can cook these. You can skewer them and throw them on the grill. You can saute them in oil. You can cook them on a sheet pan in the oven. I'm sure there are ways you can toss these into your air fryer and cook them. You can probably do a little Google search and find whatever way suits you. Now, if you are not a fan of shrimp, I get it. I am not a huge fan of shrimp. My kids like them, my husband likes them, and I am trying to branch out a little bit on the channel and just try some different kinds of recipes, so that's why I'm throwing these into this meal plan. I paid $5 for this little 12-ounce package of shrimp that's gonna let us have 5 or 6 little ones in each serving with the pasta. But for about the same price, I could probably get 3 or 4 little chicken thighs and cook those up to go along with this dish if shrimp is not your favorite. There might be another protein, some little Italian sausages, packages of 4 or 5 of those are usually under $5. So if you're not a shrimp fan, there's some ideas for you. I am getting ready to make up some ham and Swiss sandwiches with some chips and a little yogurt apple salad. I'm gonna make this for lunch today because it's summertime and everybody's in the house for lunch, but this works just fine for dinner too, especially in the warmer months. In fact, I had intended on toasting these sandwiches, making them open-faced and then putting them under the broiler for a minute or 2 until the cheese was nice and melty, and then putting the sandwich halves together and slicing them up. However, it is the end of July in Oklahoma and it is like 11,000 degrees outside. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but it's hot. So I've had some requests just to keep the sandwiches cold. Don't toast them, just make them up, which is fine by me because that's even easier. I have 1.5 loaves of French bread. I have 12 slices of Swiss cheese. I have a pound of ham. So I'm just gonna pile that onto the loaves and then slice up the sandwiches. There's plenty there to have 4 or 5 good sized sandwiches. I am making a little apple salad to go along with the sandwiches. So I started by chopping up my 3 green apples into little pieces. It's amazing to me how much larger in volume these 3 apples look when I chop them up like this. And now I have those apples in a bowl and I'm going to stir in my 2 containers of yogurt. Like I said in the grocery haul, I picked up the coconut vanilla Greek, but this works with, other flavors of yogurt. If you want to use plain yogurt instead of flavored yogurt, I mean, you probably would want to sweeten it maybe with a little honey or something like that. You could sweeten it yourself. Or if you want to use regular yogurt instead of Greek yogurt, totally up to you. But I'm just gonna stir this to coat the apples. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on the bowl and pop it back in the fridge until we're ready to eat. And when we are, I will just put a little of this in a bowl and then I'll take that little container of Cinnamon Toast Crunch that I purchased and I'll put a little bit on top of each little bowl of apples and yogurt. And that'll be like a nice little sweet treat, very refreshing, some good fiber and nutrients in the apples, way to get a little produce into this very inexpensive meal. This next recipe is the one that gave me the most trouble in planning and that I changed several times before I landed on this particular version. I'd initially intended to do a cold noodle salad with cooked ramen and the cabbage slaw mix and then chopped cucumber tossed in oil and vinegar and chilled. And then I was gonna cook up the pork with this homemade stir fry seasoning that you see me making here and serve it on top of the salad. But when I changed from using ramen to angel hair and decided to make the Orzo salad cold, I made the switch to making this a warm meal instead and just having it be sort of like a noodle stir fry, kind of like an egg roll in a bowl but with noodles. I actually ended up not even using my cucumber. I guess I could slice it up and serve it with dinner, or I could have sliced it up and served it with the sandwiches, but since I changed this recipe from the cold version to the warm version, I don't even need this. So while my pasta is cooking in a pot of salted water, I am browning up my ground pork, and when it's almost done, I am adding in a couple cloves of minced garlic and letting it cook another 1 to 2 minutes before I add in my seasoning mix, half a cup of soy sauce, about 1 cup of the starchy water from my pasta as it's cooking, and then the coleslaw mix. I stirred that together really well and then pop the lid on it and let it cook for 7, 8, maybe 10 minutes. While that stir fry is cooking up, my pasta is done, so I drained it and set it aside. And you can see that after that 7 to 10 minute cook time here that my veggies are starting to get nice and tender, that everything is cooked through, and that's when I'm gonna stir in my pasta. The pork I bought is 80-20, so it renders some fat as it's cooking. You can add another tablespoon or 2 of vegetable oil while you're cooking it. I also added just like a couple teaspoons of this sesame oil because I had it in the cabinet. I tossed that with the noodles and the stir fry once it was done cooking. I added a little everything but the bagel seasoning to my bowl, and let me tell you, this turned out very tasty. I was really pleased with how this turned out. I hope you found something helpful in this video. If you want to watch another like it, you can check out one of these videos next, and I'll see you there.